Is it real or is it AI? It's a question you've probably asked yourself when scrolling through social media. A lot of the images can look so realistic, it can be hard to know if it's fake. David Gerhard is a professor of computer science. He spoke with Marcy Markusa and says it's getting harder and harder to tell.
Yeah, the way we often say this is when you're looking at artificially intelligently generated content, what you're seeing today is the worst it'll ever be. It's always getting better. All of these little tells and tricks and things that seem to indicate that an image or a piece of text is AI generated. The companies building these tools are actively trying to fix these problems because they want the content to be as good as possible. So last year, maybe it was like people had 5 or 6 fingers. Well, people have the regular number of fingers now, and it's not a tell anymore. So these tells that we sort of try to learn and build into our structures, they will go away over time.
So having said that, even, let's talk about some of the things that might still be out there that could help people. So number of digits on someone's finger. What about blurry outlines, or what other things might people still look for just in case?
Yeah, this is one of the important tells, is looking in the background of the image. Often the main subject of the image is very good and very polished, but the edges of that main subject might be a little bit fuzzy. There might be some unusual things happening in the background. The horizon line might not line up properly, but this isn't always a tell, because if you think the Mona Lisa, for example, the horizon line in that image isn't lining up properly. And so many of these tells also apply to real world images, and so it does become more and more difficult to tell. And so as one of the previous people on the street mentioned, sometimes the sort of meta information, the information around the post, is more reliable as a tell, right? How often this person posts, or how contextually relevant this image or this text is related to what you're talking about.
If you do want to source an image, tell us, like literally walk us through what you're clicking on, or what other sites you might go to try to verify something.
Yeah, so one thing to do is to do a reverse image lookup, right? The Google or other search engines will allow you to put an image in and find other places online where that image is used. Any image that is sort of relevant to a news organization or something is often posted many times, but an AI-generated image will have never been seen before, and so there will be no result in an image lookup. But again, if I take a picture with my camera and post it online, it's never been online before either, so that's not 100% reliable tell. But combining these with other features is important. If you sort of do a right click on the image and look for image information of the image, right? Like whether there's a metadata tagging the date and time that the image was created or made. And then the other thing that's happening is some of these AI generation companies are starting to require tagging on the images. Like Sora videos, for example, are very, very difficult to tell from reality, but they often have a little Sora word floating around that says, yes, we know this is generated by AI, because the AI company is putting that stamp on the image to tell us that.
Are social media platforms, in your view, being transparent enough about the use of AI in their content?
Well, I don't think they're hiding it. I think that there are some of these companies that see this as a valuable thing, right? People seem to be watching this stuff. People seem to be clicking on it and looking at it, and engagement is their metric. So if I'm looking at it, that must mean it's valuable. So it's not like they're hiding it, telling you that they're not doing it. But I don't think we see this sort of plastered across the masthead saying we are now showing generated content. But if you look at the shareholder meetings, if you look at the conversations with some of the top management, putting AI generated content on their platforms is a thing that they're not shy about doing.
What's the legislation around AI content like right now? Like, we have a new federal minister in charge of AI and such, but what's the actual legislation look like?
Well, there isn't really much, and this is part of the frustration, is that the legislative picture is fragmenting around the world. A couple of years ago, in the States, there were big pushes for legislation. The AI generation companies were saying, please legislate us. But since then, of course, there's almost no legislation in the United States at all. And here in Canada, the AI minister last year said that he thought that we were sort of over-indexing on regulation, and he'd prefer to see more supports to encourage companies and industries to adopt these new models, to adopt these tools. And so looking at, trying to use more AI in companies and business ventures is great. But if there isn't regulation in terms of how that content is displayed to people and how that content is indicated or labeled, that maybe is a problem.
What's the worst? Like, what's at stake here?
I mean, to me, the biggest problem is the other side of the column, where we over-index on lack of trust, right? Like if we look at a piece of media and say, I don't believe this is true, then almost any media can be not true. And so the kind of the evidence of our eyes no longer applies, right? I can look at an image and say, I don't believe that's happening because it's probably AI generated. And so not only do we not trust the stuff that's fake, we also start to not trust the stuff that's real.